What is the best mount for gatherers? Now, that is the age-old question that every gathering-focused player asks. Whether you're just starting out or you've been playing this game for years, everybody wants to know the answer to that question. Now, lucky for us, somebody on Reddit made an amazing tier list that kind of breaks down almost every mount that could be viable for gathering. Now, some are missing, but you will remember last time we did the tier 4 Giant Stag. Now, today, we're focusing on the T6 Ox. Now, they put this at D tier, but if I'm being 100% honest, I would put this at F tier. As much smack as I talk about the Giant Stag, I just do not believe the Ox is a gathering mount. Now, let's look at why. So, when we have the T6 Ox, starting off, it's got decent health. 1337 is not that bad, but moving literally 2 down, you've got your move speed and your gallop speed. So 90% gallop speed, which is about 15% slower than the Stag was, but its absolutely abysmal move speed is 50%. So getting hit by one enemy knocks off 40% of your move speed, and 50% you're not going anywhere. With a 4-second time to gallop, it's not looking good if you're trusting the Ox to escape with. Now, of course, they do have armor and magical resistance, both sitting at 130, with 110 crowd control resistance, so you do get a little bit of defensive stats. The likelihood of maybe one person dismounting you, not that high. But an organized group, probably 2 or more, can knock you right off this. The only redeeming quality that the Transport Ox has at tier 6 is its max carry load, but it's only a half redemption because it's an active stat and not the passive courier buff. If you lose your mount, you're over encumbered. So 2237 is great while you're riding around and you're in your mount's radius and you're going strong gathering, but as soon as you lose that mount, you're getting way over encumbered. But it's not a true test until we actually take it out into the field. So let's get out there. Now, as I'll do for all of these mount tests, we're leaving out of the safe portal, specifically from Fort Sterling portal, but we're going out of the safe portal, so it costs about 94,924. Let me throw that into a calculator so that way we can subtract it from any profit that we get later on, so we know just how impactful that actually was. And now that I've got that out there, let's travel. So it drops you, as we've talked about with the safe portal, 3 to 10 zones away from Portal Town. For us, it sent us to Glacierfall Valley, a tier 7, quality 4 zone. So good potential, but there is 6 to 15 people here, so we do have to be on the lookout. As we can see, this is our gallop speed. Not very fast. Now let me get tagged by this guy. And that's our normal move speed, even slower. Now, I get asked very often, how do I survive getting ganked? What do I do? People ask me all the time. I'm out in the roads, I'm out in the open world. I get jumped all the time, and they ask me how to survive. Now, the truth is, it's going to come down to a lot of what I call soft skills. That anxiety, that situational awareness, that little nagging in the back of your head, or that grip that the fear has on your spine to make you distrust your surroundings even when everything looks fine. That's not something I can teach you. That's something you have to experience on your own. But one thing I do recommend for people is pretty simple. If you're not experienced and you keep dying, get into the habit of red equals run. Now, if you're a ganker or you're a PvPer, you've probably heard the phrase red is dead. For gatherers, I always advocate for the opposite of that. Red is run. It does not matter what they have. It does not matter if they're coming at you. If you see a red name tag, mount up and move in the opposite direction. Now, the Ox brings us into a different type of situation compared to the Stag. With the Stag, it had such low carry weight that we had to make constant depot trips just to fulfill the hour-long session. With this, with the tier 6 Ox, I don't foresee that being a problem because it has such an immense carry weight. Especially with the pork pie, we're going to be able to stay out in the same zone for the entire session, and that might bring an extra level of risk to it. Gathering-wise, I'm doing a quick check to see if there's any enchanteds, because I want to get all those before they either get gobbled up, as you can see a lot already are, or before they enchantment cycle. And then I'll start getting all these flats. Now, when I'm testing these mounts, it's also very important that we see how they fare under PvP circumstances. So I'm going to spend an extra prolonged time in a hotspot to hopefully attract some manner of chase, some manner of gank attempt. Because it's great to theorycraft and it's great to talk hypotheticals, but I want you guys to see it live. I want you guys to see it in the moment, in action. And unfortunately, I just can't manufacture PvP. I mean, I'm sure that'd be great, but can't do that. So hopefully something organically happens and we're able to see how this holds up. An 18% enchant rate is not too bad, and it looks like it's serving us pretty decently. You'll also notice that I switched to the bolt casters. I wasn't particularly vibing with the carving sword. Its clear time on these mobs was extremely slow. And when you're using a mount that doesn't have the courier passive, an escape set doesn't really make too much sense, because if you lose the mount, you're over encumbered. You're not going anywhere with movement abilities except maybe the minor boots, but those wear off or get purged. Now, yes, I am going to be collecting stone. Not maybe so much of a priority, but I am still grinding fame, of course, which we're at 26.9. And I think decent session, we could probably round up to get the rollover to 27. 27 million fame. It's pretty good. On average out here, I can get about 100,000 an hour, especially in the black zone. Imagine what I could do if I actually had time to play. Now moving towards the corner, because a little pro tip, in most zones, the further you get away from exits and the main road is where you're going to find the best resources. So in this zone, most likely the west end would be the best resources, but the corners, they also tend to clump up there. Now I'm going to move less west along the edge here, because another survival tip is always know where your exits are. Now, there's no western exit, this is true, but the further northwest I get, I've got the Road of Avalon, an exit, and my Fort Sterling portal, my safe portal. So I'm going to head this way, and I'm going to prioritize staying as close as I can to the edge. Now, if we get lucky and we find an enchanted wisp, we'll absolutely take this ox into the mists. We'll do a little mist dive and see if see what the mist gankers can do to us. Now, we're 15 minutes in, about halfway through our first pie, and we're sitting at about 1.6 million. You take away my tools, that means about 600,000 has been through gathered mats and, of course, filled journals. Now, something a lot of people tell me, I see a lot in the comments and a lot when I'm live, is how, oh, Fancanth, I can never find nodes that have, have full stacks. I can never find nodes that are fully and untouched. And I know I'm gathering one literally right now, but we also just saw, as I was in this ore hotspot, I was hitting a lot of 1-to-5s, right? I was hitting a lot of those 1, 2, 3 out of 5s. So not all the time are you going to find full nodes. It's very rare that you're going to find full nodes all the time out in a zone, any zone really. And so you're going to get a lot of these 1-to-5s, but even with 1-to-5s, I'm up about 620,000 in 15 minutes. So just don't focus on the nodes and their fullness. Just do the job. All right, you're out there to gather. The faster you can move through a node, the faster you can get to the next one. So don't worry that this one's 1-to-5, because the next one might not be. And just keep going. Now, I'm curious, have you guys ever gotten the chance to fight Maeve? This isn't Maeve, the Unfettered Oracle. This is Spirit Weaver. But have you guys gotten the chance to clear these Keeper camps and fight Maeve, the Unfettered Oracle? How have you guys been enjoying the Keeper event? let me know in the comments down below. I've been loving it. I think it's great content, and I'm super excited for Dragonfire coming on August 31st. Now, I know I talked about it in one of my recent videos, but a good rule of thumb is always prioritize what's enchanted. Because A, usually it's going to bring you in more money, more fame, more might, whatever you're grinding. But also B, you don't know when it's going to disenchant. And you don't want to say, oh, I'll get that 6-1 right after I get this 6 flat mob. And then you see it disenchant right in front of your eyes. We've for the most part, we've all experienced that disenchantment right in front of our eyes, and it's always pain. So always prioritize the enchanted resources when you can. Oh, wow, okay. Well, that's nice. Always check the treasures, because that's 6 flat Graveguard armor. Extra, okay, 28,000. I thought it would be a little bit better, but I've got a lot of, runes laying around, so I might be able to enchant that and make some money off of it. Not too worried about this guy. Or T5 pies. That's crazy. Even as a beginner, I don't think I've ever used anything other than T7 pies. Now, with less than 2 minutes left on our very first pie, I'm going to move into Deepwood Copse. Now, I do suspect this is going to be a little bit of a riskier, a little bit of a higher danger zone, and I'm doing that on purpose, but I'm not doing it because I want to lose everything. But like I mentioned earlier, a big part of the viability of a gathering mount is how well you can survive a gank attempt. So I want to push the envelope a little bit. I want to invite some of that risk, invite some of that danger, so you guys can see it in action. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not going to run into a blob and beg it to happen. But if it does happen, whether I escape or survive, you're going to see the reality for this mount. Now, again, with the pie expiring in 20 seconds, I want to thank you guys for your support on all of my videos. I hope you guys have been enjoying this new series, so do me a favor, let me know in the comments what mounts you want me to, like, test out. We're obviously doing the entirety of that tier list, but what mounts aren't on the tier list that you want to see how viable they are for gathering? And again, thank you guys. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. It helps me out immensely, and I love everybody. So we're popping our second pie, and we're moving on into the forest zone. Six to 15 in this zone. One zone over here is the world boss zone. So that's Elder Sleep, not Eye of the Forest, but still very dangerous. We're going to push towards the treasure. Like I said, we're going to push the envelope a little bit, invite some threat. See if we can handle our own. Now, obviously, I want to be chased. I don't want to be killed, so I'm not going to be foolish. I'm going to try to play this as smart as I can. And while I want that stone treasure, it is only 6 flat, so if I can't get it, I can't get it. Alright, so this guy, I don't have to particularly be worried about him. He is a bot. You can tell he's a bot because he's on a tanky mount and shitter gear. Low IP. He's a bot because there's the chance that Titans are going to spawn in this zone, especially because it has the plus. So you've got scout bots essentially. Shitters who you know, they're either an alternate account of some actual player, they're some shield bot, or they're an actual player who just gets paid to sit there and scout for that stuff. Either way, it's all shitty. I was hoping for a Verdant Wisp, but usually they'll spawn inwards, and it looks like we're not getting lucky with one. See, another shitter scout. Now, while I want to, and while I purposely went looking for threats, right? I want to showcase how little threats I've actually ran into. And it is 7:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7:16 p.m. So people are starting to get off work. People are starting to hop on the game. It is prime time for a lot of zones right now. And we have not ran into a huge risk of people. We've got Shitter Boy here. What's he gonna try to do? I could win a fight against him, but it could also be bait. I have no idea what this guy's trying to do. Was he using his boots to close distance on me? Was he transporting one of those cores? Yeah, it looks like some manner of core transportation is going down. Not cores, crates. My bad. And again, even though I'm out here and I want to invite the risk, I'm still deploying my general safety methods. So leaving one tick on the treasures so those horrible gang squads don't just pull up on me and beat me to death. Here we go. Now, I know some ouchie guys, and I know some people in Brain on cooldown, but that doesn't mean I'm safe. I'm gonna head back towards the road, see if I could, bait some guys a little bit. Pretty good at baiting, but I wouldn't say I'm a master. Dynaco is out here. They're pretty strong. Now, this is probably the most dangerous spot in the entire map. Choke points, far from escapes, no safety to get to. If I was going to be ganked, this is where it would happen. I'm doing the classic mount and dismount method because I did just see somebody run by. Now, whether or not they saw me, it's higher than likely that they saw me. I don't want to get ran up on invisible and get jumped. Like I said, worst spot I could possibly be in. Getting a little bit better, but again, this is just a tunnel, so it's not the best. Now, one important factor I did forget to touch on in the very beginning is the price of the T8, or not the T8 Ox, the price of the T6 Ox. Now, its estimated market value is 130,000, which is extremely low. So you'd probably see a lot of beginners using the Ox. I would say graduate off the Ox as soon as possible, but we'll touch on more of the reasoning why at the very end. T5 bears, my least favorite animal mob in the entire game, followed closely by the T5 terror birds. They just did not make a good T5 skinning mob, did they? Full 9 out of 9, 7-1. I'm either in super risky spots, or this was just juicy luck. Definitely doing good on my journals. Oh, isn't that nice? Almost double what the 7 flat is. I guess I only brought one skinning journal by accident. Got less than 2 minutes left on our second pie, so I'm gonna gather my way from here back to the zone, back to our back to my safe portal. Oh, very nice. With just a sliver of our pie left, that's... Oh, very nice, very nice. I think we just get out of here. I think we just book it. I think we just book it, says me, and then immediately stops to gather more shinies. Oh. What the mind of a gatherer. I just can't help it. It glows and I need it. But as you can see, another point for why the T6 Ox or any mount that doesn't have Courier is a detriment. Why not having Courier is a detriment. If you see up at the top right, it says 78%, and then under it says 1,005. So the green number is my carry weight with the mount. So I'm 78% as long as I have my mount active. The 1,005 is what I will be if I lose my mount. That means I'm not going anywhere. If I get ganked and lose this mount, I am 100% stationary. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. But I made it back to Port Sterling Portal completely unscathed. And what we'll do is we will depot all of our good stuff. So we'll actually depot all the things that we're not selling into this tab here. And that's pretty much it. So that means in the hour, we were able to walk away with 2,000,000, let's see, 2,521,776. Now that's in my inventory. If we subtract the original 94,924 from 2,521,776, we realistically profited 2,426,852. So that's fantastic. Now, as for where I personally would rank the T6 Ox on this chart, I would make a whole new tier. I would say it's F tier at best because it is slow. because it is ultimately squishy. Now, 1300 health, some defensives, that's great. I am a big advocate for defensives, but its speed is a huge detriment to that squishiness. So 50% if you get tagged, it's not going anywhere. And one of the big pros to it is its carry weight, but that's a half and half, like we talked about. No courier, high carry weight. So you really need to practice situational awareness to make sure you don't get tagged while you're dismounted gathering. And then, of course, its cheapness. It costs an average of 130,000. Now, let's go see how much it actually costs on the market. See if that estimated market value is somewhat accurate. 109,000. So it's actually even cheaper than what the estimated market value says. Now, of course, if you play around with it, we've got 109. A good is 110. An outstanding is 139. Excellent is 179, and then you want a masterpiece, 6 million. You gotta fork over 6 million for a masterpiece. Don't do that. Now, biggest reason I'd say it's F tier is the perception of it. A lot of people are gonna see an ox and automatically assume that you are carrying juicy stuff. Oxes are great, fantastic transport mounts because of their carry weight, but it also carries that image. It also carries that perception. Gankers are going to see you. Gankers are going to want to know what you have, and they're going to target you harder. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel down below for more content like this. And like I said, let me know in the comments what mounts you do want to see that aren't already on the tier list, and I will see you guys next time.